What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my Yoni steam routine, Yoni rituals, Yoni practices that I like to implement into my monthly or bi-monthly routine. I want to recognize and thank all the women who resonated with my feminine hygiene routine and then requested a deeper elaboration into my Yoni steam routine. I didn't realize that I wasn't as detail oriented, so I will try to be as detailed as possible in sharing the certain blends that I make myself, as well as places where you could potentially buy. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the video. So first things first, what is a Yoni steam? Yoni steaming is basically like a facial for your Yoni. When I say this, some people get confused, like why would you want to do that? But when you think about it, as women who have menstrual cycles or have babies or who are sexually active or who have yeast infections or who are very sensitive or who are using synthetic soaps that might cause irritation, you would think that having a facial or cleansing practice beside just daily cleansing would be something that's normal, but it's just not. This is an ancient practice. This dates way back into Africa as well as some Asian countries, and it is something that I have recently implemented within the last 2 years into my life, and I love it. I would recommend it for younger girls who have started their menstrual cycle, for people postpartum, as well as people who are trying to conceive, and for that girl who is just giving herself some extra care and extra self-love. So there's different blends and different herbs for different reasons. Now you have herbs like cat's claw or padarco, which are gonna be more cleansing, heavy-duty herbs. These herbs are great for yeast infections as well as other things. Then you have your nourishing, moisturizing herbs like blue vervain or damiana, lavender, rose, which are going to be for more upkeep as well as just a routine cleanse. Each herb has a different intention and a different purpose and a different healing property in it. So I would suggest that you guys do your own research on what different herbs mean. If this is your first video watching of mine, you know that I love the Alkaline Herbal Medicine book, which basically breaks down some of the herbs that I use in my Yoni practice. A lot of people were asking me where I buy my Yoni herbs and my Yoni blends, but I actually have a whole herb collection, and I kind of just gravitate towards herbs that I'm called to use per Yoni steam. Obviously, every month you're feeling a little different. This isn't something that has to be super strategic as far as you have to do the same thing. There might be some months where you're feeling a little bit more sensitive, or you use something that threw off your pH balance. You might be going through a UTI. You might want to cleanse yourself after having sexual intercourse. You might want to cleanse yourself to prepare to have a baby. Maybe you're having fertility issues, PCOS. So after you've grabbed your herbs, you're going to want to grab some type of pot. In the pot, you're going to want to use spring water. My typical spring water of choice is usually Crystal Geyser, and I know y'all see the difference in the way that it tastes. Depending on where you live, some water can have fluoride, chlorine, as well as other chemicals to purify the water. And I personally don't resonate with a lot of things that are in water. You guys can do your own research on what fluoride is and how it affects the pineal gland and other things in your body. But I personally am a big advocate for using specifically spring water. So you're gonna wanna pour spring water into a pot and you wanna bring it to a boil. After the water has boiled, you then add your Yoni blend herbs inside. To make sure everything's well combined and submerged, you turn off the heat and you mix your Yoni herbs inside of the pot, and you cover the pot for about 20 minutes. While the pot is covered and the herbs and the water are infusing together, then you want to set up your sacred place to do your Yoni steam. I used to be the person who used to just kind of do it and do it when I could, but as I got deeper into it, I was just loving it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this something that's for me. I'm gonna make this like a spa day with a nice dress, space. I need to wear something where my legs can move wide apart so I can squat over my bowl. So this isn't my typical setup, just because I feel like my setup and where I do my yoni steam is very intimate and I don't want to share that on camera, but this is just an example. So set up your sacred space. Typically you would get some type of rug, something that's super comfortable, maybe like 2 pillows that can go on your knee if you're going to do the squat method. There's another method that you can do over the toilet, but to me, you know, the business people do at the toilet. I don't want to steam my yoni where people do their thing. And I understand you can clean the toilet, but to me this isn't very relaxing. I personally can't relax doing the toilet method, but to each its own. Or you can get a Yoni steaming chair, which is something I'm going to invest in very soon. The Yoni steaming chair basically is a chair with a cutout, and you would put your pot beneath the chair, and then you would use a blanket to cover the area so that you can trap all the heat in, and then it steams your yoni. I personally just do the squat method, have the bare minimum. Yoni chairs, I have too much clutter in the house, so it wasn't something that I invested in, and the squat method was comfortable for me. So after the 20 minutes is up, I then pour the water along with the herbs into a bowl. I also have a very specific bowl that was handcrafted and hand painted, which is not the bowl that I'm using for this video, but I have like a Yoni specific bowl because I don't need any mistakes of anybody eating out of a bowl where I steam my Yoni. That's not something I would want to see or I would want to do. I wouldn't like it if I went to somebody's house and I was eating out of their Yoni steam bowl. So have a separate bowl for this practice. So putting the bowl wherever you set up your sacred space, saging, putting your crystals, listening to an audiobook, listening to some calm music. Like, really, this is self-care and you deserve it. Even if it's for like 15 minutes, just set up a little space. Even if it's in a corner in your room, if it's in the living room while no one's there, if you live alone, like, really take the time to set up an intentional space so that you can enjoy yourself. And if you guys are needing some help with some good audiobooks to listen to, you guys already know how I feel about Audible for all of my self-care, self-love, and self-improvement and business type of videos. It's just so easy and effortless to throw on an audiobook when you're giving yourself some self-love and just listen to it to relax. Audible is my favorite because you can curate your own audiobooks for different times or scenarios in your life. Obviously, I've talked about business books, but they also have really good books on holistic health as well as astrology or rishas, just different things from different cultures that can be really interesting and soothing when you are getting back to indigenous practices like yoni steaming. And if audiobooks aren't really your thing, they do have a wide range of podcasts that you can listen to. My favorite podcasts, of course, are the self-love, girl boss type of podcasts, but they also have a plus catalog that gives you access to different meditations, workouts, affirmations, and things like that. So you can pretty much find anything that you would want when you are doing something as far as yoni steaming. If you guys have not tried Audible already, you guys can get your first audiobook for free within the first 30 days by going to www.audible.com/findguru or texting FindGuru to 500-500. And you place the bowl on the ground, you squat over it, and you basically kneel over your bowl. This does not hurt. It's very relaxing. And also it kind of allows you to move. You can basically adjust yourself and direct the steam to go where you want it to go. Another thing is before you do this, you want to be wearing socks because the steam can be a little hot around your legs. And once again, like I said, you do want to wear some type of robe, some type of skirt, or you can just get a real big blanket and just have nothing on and just make sure that you trap all of the air so that you can get a good steam. A little bit uncomfortable is on my legs, around my feet. So that's why I personally always wear socks. And it is a comfortable position for me to sit in. It's also a good stretch, and I think I'm fairly flexible, so it is comfortable for me. And if you're just starting out and this isn't something that you want to invest in a whole set in, this is completely fine. Just make sure you have some comfortable pillows, a comfortable rug, and you just sit here. I typically like to steam for about, like if I'm doing it quick, then it's like 15, but 30 minutes. And you steam once every month. There might be some women going through certain things with their feminine hygiene, whether it's a yeast infection, a UTI, postpartum, fertility issues, sexually transmitted diseases, that might want to work with a herbalist or somebody who is a Yoni steam specialist on maybe doing it twice a month. But the recommended amount that I have come to learn is at least, or doing it just once a month. Another thing that I want to touch on is, when do I like to steam? I personally love to steam like 3 or 4 days after my cycle, and it just feels like it's just cleans everything out and you're good to go. I will also say I don't have painful moon cycles, so I can't resonate with that, but I know people who do have painful cycles or heavy bleeding, things like that. Step 1, obviously, to make sure that you're using the right products, and then step 2 is steaming every single month before, like 3 or 4 days before you know your cycle's coming, or 3 or 4 days after. But after 3 to 4 months, a lot of women see a significant decline in the uncomfortability, as well as the length of the cycle, the migraines, the throwing up, the heavy bleeding, and all of that, along with assisting that with your diet. After that, I always return my herbs back to the earth, pour them outside, pour them into a house plant, and that's all that it is. It's very simple, it's very sacred. When I'm telling you, you are going to have a whole new Yoni. You're not gonna know how to act. After I did it for the first time, it was such a crazy, relaxing, cleansing experience that made me feel super, super, super close and super intimate to my body, where I was wondering why this wasn't a norm. Like, growing up, you're taught to wash your face, you're taught to get facials, you're taught to exfoliate your legs, you're taught to do all these things, but you're not really taught to steam your yoni. And we don't take into consideration the toxic feminine hygiene products that we put inside our yoni that need cleansing, or those partners that we're sexually intimate with that might throw off your pH balance, or the importance of doing this if you are having PCOS or fibroids, or the importance of this after for postpartum to basically snatch you back where you need to be, or even doing it if you're having trouble conceiving and you need help with fertility and not knowing all of the chemicals after the years and years and years and years and years of you using chemical products for tampons, pads, and all of that, or the IUDs or the birth controls, all of these things that we put inside, but we're not taught to really properly cleanse in a natural way. So yes, this is my Yoni steaming routine. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But if you guys do have any other questions, go ahead and put them down at the comments below. If you have a Yoni practice or a Yoni ritual that you do for yourself, go ahead and hook your girl up and let me know what you guys like to use. Because I do make my own herbal blends, I would be curious to see where some of you guys who do practice your Yoni steaming get your herbal blends from. Go ahead and use this as a sisterhood sharing section in the comments. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for resonating with building up, teaching, inspiring, and making some changes to tap into the highest form of divine feminine energy and cleansing yourself from the inside out. Share some information down below. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next upload. Bisous!